How's it going? So, on today's episode, we're going to be checking out this shocking video that shows a groom exposing his bride's affair with her brother in law. So, basically, his sister's husband at their wedding. So, let's actually check out this video. So the groom played a video of his wife cheating on him with her pregnant sister's husband in front of everybody. Wow. Okay, so I got that kind of mixed up. So it's actually her own sister's husband. Wow. Okay, so basically, this is an overseas video. I'm guessing in China. And so far, it's not really showing anything like exposing. Interesting. Bum 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 bum. There is like this big video playing basically to everyone, and I guess it just now. Okay, so I'm guessing that they're not necessarily going to be showing anything graphic, obviously. So it basically cut, and I'm guessing in between this cut with them reacting and beforehand was probably her on camera, you know, doing the whole whoopee thing. You know, that old school, like, Sims, situation on the bed. Yeah. So that is not good, right? Like, there's so many issues in this whole situation. One, okay, this is hard, right? So if you were to be cheated on, would you go the route of exposing it to everyone on your wedding day? Maybe, maybe not. Like, I can't necessarily blame the guy for doing that because it's pretty wrong for her to be cheating on him and also cheating on him with her pregnant, like her pregnant sister's husband, right? Like, that's kind of sketchy, but we don't really know the full story so far. But obviously, everyone freaks out. So the internet is reeling over a shocking video from a Chinese wedding that captured the moment a groom exposed his new bride's affair. And again, this is the wedding day. And I guess I was right that it was Chinese. Cool. Let's see. By playing an X-rated video of her in bed. Okay. So I guess this is an old video. So back in 2019, but recently popped up. So some of these comments. So this person says, got her parents to waste all that money on the wedding. The thing is, I think it's more so the opposite way. I think it was the guy or the guy's parents that probably footed the bill. Let's see. Any more comments? He needed to come with the receipts for everyone so she wouldn't be lying to her fam and friends. And the thing is, right? Like, the really scary thing, like, China, the Chinese culture is vastly different than other cultures, right? And we don't really know what was going on behind the scenes, right? But let's continue with the story. So, footage of a groom exposing his bride's affair on their wedding day by playing an X rated video of her in bed with another man has left the internet in shock. Guests of the newlyweds in China can be seen looking on in horror as a steamy bedroom scene featuring the bride and her new husband's brother in law plays out from a projector at the couple's reception. The disgraced woman then throws her bouquet at her husband as he can be heard shouting, "Did you think I didn't know about this?" The clip originally went viral in 2019, but was recently shared again on TikTok, where it was clocked up almost 6 million views and thousands of comments from outraged viewers. Which, 6 million views on a video it sounds pretty awesome, right? As like a side note, but it's TikTok, right? Like, this is the problem, right? I really don't understand why so many people try to get super viral on platforms where it's harder for them to really generate any revenue. Like, TikTok makes it very hard for people to make money. Now, then again, this probably wasn't really done for like getting views, but basically to expose, whoa, this is kind of crazy. Cheating bride, the video is captioned. So text written over the top of the footage reads, "The groom played a video of his wife, blah 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 blah. But reaction over the groom's act of revenge has left social media users divided." Which, by the way, if you stumble upon this, feel free to give your own thoughts after, we go through the full article. So most were on the man's side, stating the bride got what she deserved. Best revenge in front of all of their family and friends, one user commented. Honestly, I am this petty and would 1000% do this, another said. Man stood there knowing the calamity he's about to cause, someone else wrote. I mean, to be frank, to be able to have the patience to be able to do something like this is pretty crazy. Others, however, were confused why the man went through with the wedding. Isn't this at the party? So doesn't that mean they already said I do? One person said. Well, this is the thing. Now, I'm not really too familiar with how every state does this or how it's done in China, right? But typically, you're not legally married until you do the paperwork, like the legal paperwork to actually be married. People would tend to do that beforehand, the actual big ceremony, or after, right? It's like a 50-50 as to what people really decide, right? But the fact of the matter is, it's like a legal process to actually get married, right? So why did he go through with the wedding? So why did he waste all that money on the wedding? Well, the thing is, the problem with a lot of weddings is that a lot of them are prepaid, like 6 months to a year plus in advance. Many try to explain the move, stating it's very hard to get deposits back from wedding venues once booked. I agree, I literally just said that. Maybe he found out too late, and the wedding needed to be paid for regardless whether they broke it off, one reason. Satisfaction people embarrassing her in front of everyone was probably worth it for him, another stated. Meanwhile, others turned their attention to the bride, labeling her move to throw her flowers at the groom wild. And she's the one that gets mad at the end, one person wrote. Not her throwing the flowers at him, the audacity, another said. Now, the couple had been together for 2 years and were engaged for 6 months before their big day, Asia One reported at the time. Now, it was also claimed that the bride suffered domestic violence at the hands of the groom and had sought comfort with his sister's husband. However, over time, things evolved into an illicit relationship, and once the groom found out, he decided to humiliate his bride. Now, here's the thing. I don't know the full story. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. I don't really like bringing the allegations of domestic violence if there's not necessarily proof of it, right? Because that tries to basically downplay the fact that she slept with her pregnant sister's husband, okay? And cheated on her then fiance at the time, right? Probably multiple times. So I don't really like people bringing up like the whole alleged domestic violence. I mean, it sucks if that is what happened in that relationship, but when it comes down to it, that's kinda of a massive, I don't know, warning sign that maybe you two should not belong together at all, if that actually happened. One thing's for sure, financially speaking, it's probably a much better thing that this sort of thing happened so that they don't actually have ever gotten legally married because yeah, financially speaking, now I don't know the laws in China, but it's probably a good idea to not be married with someone that's just going to cheat on you. So let's see some of the comments, if there is any. So in China, the reception is different from the wedding ceremony. These are two different things. The official wedding is a lot of paperwork at some government office. Then later, sometimes weeks or months, you get a party. So I am guessing he got married, learned of the affair, and then decided to use the party to bust her. Oh, snap. Okay. Interesting. Hold on. Having an affair with your pregnant sister's husband is not an acceptable way of getting comfort from alleged spousal abuse. It makes it look like the bride is a tramp, which gives no credibility to any claims of abuse. No weirder than sleeping with your dead brother's widow and getting the president to give his blessing. Wow. I wonder what that is a reference to. Wink, wink. So in China, yeah, blah, 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 blah. So basically, my assumption was pretty much incorrect in that he probably actually did actually get married legally and then had the party. Based off what this individual says, if what this person, DG, says, then he probably had already been legally married to her and then this happened. Whew. Every divorced woman I know says that their ex husband was abusive. The problem is that I know some of the ex husbands, and they mostly aren't abusive at all. Right, all my ex husband's friends and family said the same thing about him. People don't know what goes on behind closed doors. That's a statement that I gotta agree with, right? Like, none of us really know what happened in their own, like, home, apartment, behind closed doors. You never know. Like, that's the reality. You just never know. Which makes, like, allegations like domestic violence such a gray area because it's been so polluted with false accusations. Okay, so the reason he went through with the wedding is that the bride's family traditionally pays for weddings. Extra salt. Now that is interesting. But in China, it is the groom's family that usually pays. Interesting. See, I like reading comments like this because it gives a little bit more understanding from people's own personal perspectives or knowledge. Think about the sister and her husband, which would have been there as well. See you all at Xmas. Don't forget this year is potluck. Bring your films. Let's see. This is revenge adult content. I think in the long run, this would be the best thing that ever happened to them both. So, divorced right after marriage, streamlining the whole process. I'm thinking neither is a prize, and that's probably the case, truthfully. They probably are both got like demons to extinguish in their lives. Too bad for the pregnant sister in law, collateral damage. There are three sides to every story: his, hers, and the truth. We will never know all the details of what led up to this. Now, that's true, right? I mean, that's the reality of situations like this, but the main reason why we're even covering this story is one, it's kind of crazy, two, awfully funny, but three, this is one of the examples why, if you were to get married, like if you were to go down that route, it is one of the biggest financial decisions you will ever make in your whole life, right? More than you getting a house, more than you getting a car, more than you getting a kid, right? More than you putting money into like an investment or whatever kind of stuff, right? Like financially speaking, potentially the make it or break it financial decision in your whole life could very well be who you end up marrying, right? Because if you marry the wrong person, if you're a guy or a girl, if you have far more assets to them and you do not protect your assets and you guys get divorced, like basically let's just say someone has like $10 million net worth, the other person has negative net worth, you get married, there's no prenup, depending on the state or country it wouldn't even matter, and basically you end up getting divorced a few years or maybe even a decade afterwards, right? And so now you basically lost either half or more than half of what you actually have or made through that marriage, right? Then you got to pay child support if you have kids. Then you got to pay alimony, depending on the state or country or whatever, right? You might be paying for your partner's living arrangements, right? So, like, literally their lifestyle while potentially they're dating someone new and purposely not marrying that person so that you got to keep paying them every single month, right? Like, it gets really dirty really fast, and not to mention like the amount of people that have made claims about their previous partner, like after a divorce or during a divorce, to try to like have it go in their favor is like really disturbing, right? So the main thing to really get from this whole story is that if you are dating someone right now, have a very open and very clear understanding of what you are expecting in terms of like financially speaking in the marriage, like the financial responsibilities. Should we get a prenup? Does it make sense for us to have a prenup? If I were to die or if you were to die while we're married and we have kids or not have kids, like what's going to happen, right? Like you should have like these really honest talking points with the person that you're potentially getting married with, because it could get bad really fast if you don't plan for it. If you want to learn how to get out of debt and master your money, learn down below. Either way, feel free to give your thoughts on this whole situation. Do you think what this guy did is right? Would you do it?